Welcome to Mr. Moon has left the building. Today we've got a very special guest with me and Addy. We've got Gary. Happy hammer or an upset hammer? We don't know. We're going to find out in a minute. Gary, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Now, we wanted to get some fans on. We want different opinions to probably ours because obviously we don't want everyone just thinking we're trying to brainwash people here. So we want other... And so thanks for reaching out. And we say to other fans, if you want to come on, especially if you've got polar opposite opinions to us as well, which would actually be even more funnier. So, Gary, tell us, happy hammer or not at the minute?
Where do you want me to start, mate? It's like very, very unhappy at the moment. I think this isn't just a this season thing. I think last year was the first year in 40 years I hadn't been to an home game. I've been to a lot of away games, but I just didn't want to put money in their pocket, mate. I used to do hospitality a lot because I've got my own business and they're ringing me all the time. I said, I'm not paying to go and watch that. Certainly it's a couple of the prices they were charging, but it was quite sad, really, because I normally take my boy with me, who's 12, and even he wasn't that interested in going. So the odd away game is where you find in the diehards, lots of people like us, old school, that were there at Upton Park, have just sort of given way to the day trippers now, mate. So, yeah.
Do you know what? It was, I only noticed it at Tottenham away, Tottenham home this year, last season, sorry, which was it? What was that, a 0-0 game? I can't even remember. I think it was a draw. It was a drab game, I remember. And I remember I was in a hospitality area and there was a guy, my mate Ozzy was there, who's been West Ham season ticket holder for 40 odd years. And he said, it just don't feel like a Tottenham game. Like there was nothing outside. And he went, look around, Sam. He said, how many people do you know in there? And I went, wow, yeah. And I was thinking of that earlier, like the away game, you still know people. Yeah. Like it is still, but it is getting fewer. Even there, like it's got a bit of a more younger crowd now, and the more social media crowd, I would say a little bit more, which isn't a bad thing. But that was always a nice thing. Even if you didn't know them, you recognise them from all the away games, and you've known them since you were like 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
The home game was even worse this season, even worse than last year. Just loads of tourists and just some of the regular faces that you see every week at the home game just not there anymore. And it's kind of sad now.
I did think that actually when we moved to the London Stadium, we were just saying this off air, like we all thought it was a necessary evil that we needed to leave Upton Park. And I know people were really, really against it, obviously. I wasn't one of them. And I think, Gary, you said you probably wasn't. You probably went, okay.
I think it was a risk worth taking at the time, given what they'd laid out as a plan, you know?
And I still agree with that, probably. If we wanted to push on, although we haven't pushed on, but if you wanted... But well, I suppose we have. We won a trophy, right? Okay, let's put this season aside, right? If you wanted to push on, you felt you had to. But I never, ever thought, until probably that Tottenham game last year, that West Ham fans would be replaced by tourists. I never saw that coming. I didn't even think of it, actually. So that was something I didn't... Maybe some people did see that and was against it, but I never thought that.
Well, funnily enough, I saw Gary Firmager used to do Overland and Sea. I saw him at the last couple of games at... Upton Park, and I said, are you coming over to the new place, Gary? He goes, I'm not going. I said, really? He said, no. I said, it's a shame because you've been like, he was like part of furniture against the railings, wasn't he? He said, no, I'm not going over there. Yeah, exactly. But now I did see him, not last season, season before. I think it was a European game. I saw him, said hello to him, but it's faces like that you miss, really. But as I said off air, Sam, I think, not in hindsight, but at the time, it was a risk worth taking. I honestly don't think we would have won a trophy had we not moved. But you're in real estate, mate. Yeah, I know a bit about what you do, and it's a little bit like furnishing a £25 million Bel Air mansion with an IKEA kitchen. You can't do it, mate. It has to be befitting of the surroundings that you're in. And I just think at the moment, and I've been giving some thought to this before I come on air, but even if when Potter goes, there's no real light at the end of the tunnel, mate. I mean, imagine we had a business and we had someone that we had to get rid of because they can't perform or they weren't performing. And then I said to you, go out and find someone Addy goes off, finds an agency. He says, we've got someone brilliant here, but he's going to cost a fee and he's going to want remunerating to a certain amount. But that's just life. What we do is we say, sounds expensive. Have you not got a list of anyone that's been sacked? And what we do, mate, is we fish in this pool of people that have underperformed, have been sacked, they've left by mutual consent, and other managers like Klopp, for example, he left because he couldn't sustain that level. But we're not going to attract anyone like that. So at the moment, we're left with the best of a bad bunch. So I don't know, mate. I don't think it ever comes into
is the
world
business model, which is the maddest thing in the world, that we are pulling from people that are sacked, that are not good enough for lesser clubs than what we want to be.
And they've started to do the same with players now. They've started to do the same. So we got, is it Hermanson, the goalkeeper?
Yeah.
We got
Fernandes.
We got Fernandes.
Walker
Peters.
And I'm not saying they're bad players. And I think Fernandes, I think he's half decent. Walker Peters, I'm on the fence. Let's not even talk about the goalkeeper. But I think it's Troy Deeney was saying the other day.
I saw it as well.
You're buying people with a losing mentality. So how do you sort of rebuild on that and get them to shift focus onto winning? Because we need to have it, right? So it's a real shame, mate. I mean, madly, someone said the other day it wouldn't be the worst case to go down. I never believed that, but what they said was, no, give me a second. They were saying if you go down, you're going to get rid of the day trippers. You might start to get a few good away games, bit of success, maybe build an identity and that type of thing. But at this moment, the banners on Saturday were so correct. It's soulless. They sold their soul. They tried to do it on the cheap, and as we would say in London, they sold us a bag of apples, but it's actually a bag of pears when you look inside, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I do feel very, very let down. So as I said before, mate, I wasn't anti Sullivan and Brady, but I think time's run out now, mate. I think they need to go. Saying that, as my mate said, he said the stock was never higher than when we won that trophy. We've now been on a downward slope. It's not worth anywhere near that now. And I don't think they'll look at selling up anytime soon.
No, I do agree with you that is the case. And I saw a brilliant article on Claret and Booze, and it's kind of what we said before, Ad, but I actually really do agree with him on it. And I've done a thing for Instagram yesterday with we can't even be thinking of a manager right now at all. I don't think. Because I think whoever you put in might do well for a bit. And in a year's time, the wheel will fall off. It'd be the same old. And it's going to be another style, another this. I think we've got to get a director of football. Because like we've said Mark Noble's this sporting director or whatever it is. But let's be honest, it's a glorified title for someone that they want to just keep fans happy. Because we don't hear nothing from Mark. But also, he hasn't been at a top club to ever do it. We need to go and find someone from a top club, recruit him, and then say, right, the club is yours. And I was thinking, we probably haven't had the identity that we want as a club since Harry Redknapp.
Well, funnily enough, mate, I was looking back at the managers we've had and the ones that have been really poor. And you guys might not remember because you're a lot younger than me, but your dads will, no doubt. We're on like a 10, 12-year cycle of bad managers. So we had Lou Macari back in 1991. I think we lost 6-0 to Old and Billy Bonds come in. 10 years later, we ended up with Glenn Roeder. Not here to say anything bad about Glenn. God rest his soul. Then we ended up with Avram Grant. And then 10 years later, we end up with people like Pellegrini and Lopetegui. So it's almost like we're on that 10, 12-year cycle. And it's just something that we seem to do because we don't recruit right. And just looking back, it's just demoralising, mate. One of the things I was speaking to, I told my mate I was coming on here, and I said, especially living up north like I do now, you say to people, who's your team? And you say West Ham, and everyone used to say, I really like West Ham. West Ham's like my second team. And actually, someone wrote a book said, everyone's second team, West Ham.
Yeah.
Do you know what they say now? I say, so who do you support, Gary? I go, West Ham. They go, oh, mate, that ground. That's all they talk about. Don't talk about the
Or
players.
should have stuck with David Moyes.
Absolutely. All the Evertonians do, yeah.
And
exactly
we've become a laughing stock. Actually, you know what it is? And look, I do agree the fans are part of the problem. I really do. I think, look, we hounded Moyes out the club, and I think what Moyes showed is he was probably the only manager that could work in tandem with the board and the structure of the club, which we've seen now is so poor because these other managers cannot do it. And I'm not saying they're Lopetegui, Potter are all just terrible managers. I don't buy into that. I think the whole thing is set up for them to fail, actually. And I think
the framework as a whole, yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. We're like built on sand. It's like, what are we? We don't know what we are as a club. What are we even aiming for as a club every year? What do we want youth? When was the last time we ever played youth? Don't know. But the fans still want that. The old diehard fans, and that's what made me think. Harry Redknapp was probably the last time because you had Brooklyn up top, you had Redknapp and Frank, then you had the Roger Cross, all them people underneath. You had Tony Carr with the youth. He was you knew who was in charge. I couldn't even tell you who's in charge of the youth now.
Yeah,
could you? I have no idea actually.
It's like the old Anfield boot room almost, wasn't it? You know.
But do you know what? I got out of the shower today and I was thinking of that, right? Because I was thinking the Noble, Collins, Bilic situation, right? And I thought, imagine you said to Liverpool, right, "Gonna get the old boot room in to run the club again," right? They'd go, "Well, that was 30 years ago. We want the best coaches now." But it seemed that we did have like the goalkeeper coach. He's left us and gone straight away to Liverpool.
I saw that.
Maresca
I thought I recognised him.
was an assistant manager with us. He's the manager of Chelsea. Terzic, manager of... the list goes on and on and on of people that have actually been at our club that were obviously all right. But we haven't identified them at all as maybe they'd be a good manager in a time, or there just seems to be no strategy for anything. And I'm not... I know a lot of fans have jumped on the Nunu bandwagon. To be honest with you, even if it was Pep Guardiola coming in, I'd be a bit like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, like I say, I have absolutely no doubts that Graham Potter's a really nice guy, really decent human being. If and when he moves on from West Ham, I wish him everything, nothing but success.
Yeah.
Because he's a young English manager. It just hasn't worked out for him. But it's a little bit like, mate, if you see a mate in the pub and you say, all right, mate, you're still with your missus now, we've split. Where are you living? We're still living under the same roof. It's never going to end well, is it? You know what I mean? So, something's got to give and one of you's got to move out. You all know what's coming. So I think it's just come to the point now where I read yesterday, I don't know if you read this, but Potter is on his way out, but they've given it until the international break because the Ball don't want the new manager's first game to be Everton away and then Arsenal.
Now imagine you're Graham Potter this morning, right?
Exactly.
The club is feeding that out there, clearly, right? You can only, and listen, if the club is not feeding that out there, then apologies for this, but that's come from somewhere. We're going to give him 2 games because we want a new manager to have the international break. But now I'll bet you any money our new manager comes in at the end of the international break so we don't have to pay them 2 weeks' wages. I'll bet you any money. Because it doesn't make sense. Get him in now. Why not? Yeah. But but I would be on board with the Bilic thing as a caretaker to say, if the club come out now and said, look, we need to restructure it all, right? That's going to take time. We're going to identify key personnel for positions. I would actually go, you know what? I'm okay with it. I don't actually care. Kevin Keane could be the manager. I don't really care, to be honest with you. Nolan, Stuart Pearce, anyone could come in. But if you're just sticking a manager in there, that means that manager's going to want players again. So you're going to have to back him again when we've clearly got no money. We've got no way to earn money. We sell players at a loss every single time. Like, you've got to look and think, the club is only going to head one way, and it's down.
Well, it's funnily enough, you know, you posted something the other day on your channel saying, do you think West Ham are a big club? And it was me that put, I'm going to be honest. No, we've never won the league. We've never finished top four. We've never played Champions League. This is everything we were promised, by the way. We sell our top talent. We never buy top talent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So are we a big club? I think we had a real potential having moved stadiums. Never got it right, but managed to beat Fiorentina in the final. And then we never built on from that. Why did we not build? And we could have been a big club. Not saying we'd have been top four, but it could have been a genuine sort of top five, top six. That opportunity's gone now. We've got to wait another 40 years now, have we? I don't know. But yeah, we're not a big club. We're on the cusp of being a club. We're certainly not now. And like you say, mate, we've lost our identity now. And I don't know why they just don't get like a bit of a fan forum and work with people, because we're not talking nonsense here. We're not being abusive.
That's exactly what I said.
Constructive. But even things like that badge, London on it. No, you need someone in and saying, like, redesign the badge. Give the fans back to what it was. I know it's only stupid, but it's almost like giving the fans a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel that they're being
especially because people don't support West Ham. They're born to West Ham. Most people, right? So you don't go and choose support West Ham. If you're a kid today, you don't support West Ham, because why would you? They get beat every week. There's nothing.
My son does.
The kits are rubbish. The tracksuits are rubbish. So there's nothing. We said this last week about like the commercial side of it. None of it. The badge is crap. The stadium isn't fun. So you got to look and go, right, okay, maybe we're never going to be a big club, but let's cling on to that family club, right? Because I love that about West Ham. I do. And let's make it. But we say it now. Academy of Football, family club. They're words now that actually have zero meaning. They don't mean anything, because they're not any of that, right? Every club's a family club now. You can take women, children to any club now. Like trans, gays, you can turn up with fucking whatever you want at a football ground now. So they're all family clubs. They're all inclusive. So it's all lost with me. And I think, I agree, I would love to sit with the owners and say, how can I help? I'd love to get everyone on your side, because actually, I do like being British owned. I do like that, because we're not... Yeah. We're moaning about the tourists, but trust me, I bet you go over City or Chelsea, it's a lot worse, because they win something. And I think what we want, listen, we'd love a Saudi owners or whatever, but would we? Because then that family club, that old East End bit, the academy, would we ever see it again? But I don't think we're not seeing it now anyway.
Yeah. Funnily enough, you talking about the youth and academy and stuff. Not that I think we should throw lambs to the slaughter, particularly in the position we're in, but I'm quite surprised, because he has completely run out of ideas now, why Potter hasn't put Marshall in, why he hasn't put Potts in, why he hasn't put Souls in. As I tell you what, the fans would give you a lot more time and a lot more patience if you were putting those boys in.
Agree. We're going to do an episode after this on the youth that's going to come up, because me and Addy have probably both sort of said it over thing. Well, if they're not good enough, maybe they shouldn't be in. But I am with you. If I took over as a West Ham manager today, if I was Graham Potter, or the next West Ham manager coming in, I would be the biggest kidder of the fans. I'd go out there, I'd do that straight away, because straight away they'd go, whoa, this geezer. I'd get, in my first interview, I'd say, Bobby Moore was the greatest player I ever lived. I'm so happy to be here. And then I would chuck a couple of kids on if it was going bad and say, listen, I've thrown a couple of kids on, it ain't gone right, but I believe in the youth, I believe. And then West Ham fans would go, here's my man. This is the geezer we've been waiting for. Like, these managers, I've got to say, Moyes, in some sense, was thick with that and stubborn, where he didn't do it. And if you kidded the West Ham fans... Listen, Rio Ferdinand used to do it all the time when he left us. Come back, Man United, do that. And everyone, Rio, but yet they're hounding Frank down. It was... Yeah.
It's Craig Bellamy was saying last week about West Ham, and he was saying you cannot kid the West Ham supporters. He said, don't be fooled. Many years ago, it might just be you need to run around a bit and show a bit of effort. But it's not that anymore, mate. You've got to go. You've got to put your foot in. You've got to show some commitment. but also you've got to have a little bit. You've got to be able to play a bit as well. And at this moment in time, you said it a couple of days ago. You said it's the most unlikable West Ham team I've ever seen. And I went through the side, and there's probably only 3 or 4 that deserve to wear that shirt. The rest of them, mate, they aren't good enough.
You said the same, didn't you, Ad? It's the most. It was you that coined that, the most unlikable West Ham team, and it's so boring, isn't it?
Oh, I'm, honestly, mate, like I say, I'm so disillusioned. First time I haven't been to a home game in 40 years. But what does the future hold, mate? Like I say, maybe we might get lucky and get Saudi owners, but I don't think they're going anywhere soon. But do you know what, mate? We're so fickle, aren't we? Imagine Potter turn around and he got 6 points, and then we ended up getting 9 points out of 12, and all of a sudden he's found a system and we're all sort of back on, like, you know.
Well, it would. We did all start doing that after Forest. We kind of went, all right, here we go, and then he don't play the striker. That's where I say where he didn't use his brain going, you know what, they want Somerville, they want Wilson to start up front, they want Magasser and thingy, chuck him in, fuck it, I'm losing my job anyway. I'll throw the players to the walls, who cares? That's what they wanted. And then I'd come out and say, I'll read every West Ham forum. This is what you all wanted. I gave it to you.
What about that Brighton centre back, Igor something?
We don't say
centre half.
The fact not one of us know his name.
Is it Bruno?
No, Igor, isn't it?
I don't know.
Igor.
Yeah, is it Igor Bruno?
No,
Is it
Igor.
Igor Bruno?
Fucking Igor.
Well,
just make
New
up names.
player.
But shoot, like the other day, I made a comment, and it wasn't tongue in cheek, but I was expecting you to give me loads, Sam. And it was about sticking Souček back as centre back, and you went, "We're doing a show on that tomorrow," and I went, "Really?" I went, "Well, there must be some truth in it, though. If I'm saying it, because he hasn't got the legs he has, but I tell you what, he bleeds claret and blue. He's good in the air. He'll put his foot in. He's brave." And I tell you what, mate, if you put Souček in charge of that back four, you'd see an improvement. Because
I agree.
Mavropanos and Kilman give me
I
jitters.
Yeah, I agree too. I don't think he could be any worse than Kilman is at the moment. He's turned out to be this season at least, a distinctly average defender, isn't he? And I agree with you. I think Souček would do just as good a job as
and I think Alvarez could have as well, actually.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Weirdly,
Yeah.
Souček and Alvarez, not much pace there, but maybe if you had Souček, if you wanted to play that three at the back, Souček, Alvarez, and Wan-Bissaka or Kilman in the sweeping, all of a sudden you look and go, is that a defence? I'll tell you now, a top manager in another league contacted me to see if Alvarez could play centre half for his team, and I said, he said, you watch more West Ham than me. Do you think he can do it? And I said, I actually think that could be a position for him. I said, but I don't know about his mentality, and he falls out with every manager. So you hear. I said, so check on that. And he didn't sign him. So maybe he didn't hear the right thing, but he was wanting to play Alvarez centre half for his team. So that was where he was looking. So that was thing. But we're going to wrap up here. Maybe, Gal, if you got time, you could stay with us for another couple of videos if you want.
Mate, I'd love to.
All right, we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna talk about the youth in the next video. We're gonna bring these out in the week. But if you want to come on at all, let us know, and we'd love to have other fans on. It's been great chatting. So we'll see you all in a bit.